Welcome to Trading Lounge and the daily US stocks for Thursday, December 8. And just starting with the S&P here first. And there's two ways to look at the market. I'm just really looking for trade setup. So basically the current move up through here, retesting the 61.8%, which is at the 4,000 here. And so for me to turn bullish, I was looking for this level, the 4,000, to become support. And in that, in what makes it bullish for me as well, the market needs to simply sit on top of this level. And I look at it in the classic trading level style. So the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and then we've got this move down here. So we've got the arrival here, the reaction here, and the first high above the level. So now we've got this move down here. Now, we don't quite have 5 waves in this move here, but let's just assume that we do get 5. We may not, but we'll take a closer look at this. But if we get 5 waves here, that means we're going to get a correction, a retest, and then we're going to get another 5 down. Now, in terms of being a bullish move to the upside here, I can count this in a few different ways up here, right? But it doesn't really make much difference at this stage. But if now that this top is in, we figured that. Well, I figured that because of the 100, and also because of the option market had the resistance there as well. So we can look to go long above here, and we can also look to go long above the second high, but we don't have that second high in here just yet. So that would be the bullish case at this point. But we also have to be mindful that we may not get support here, because a lot of the time you get that first high above the level here, like this one here, and the second one we go long here and then long here. This top here would be like this one, and this top here would be like this one that hasn't happened yet, and then it can just fade and just keep on going at that point, you know, because in the bigger picture here as well is that, you know, the market coming down through here, you know, vibrating across this number here, which is doing everything it was supposed to do. And in terms of a bearish move, we were looking for it to retest this and then move down from that point. So this is really, you know, getting quite close here now for us to sort of understand which way the market's going to go. Now, if we do get 5, we've only got an A and a B and a C down here so far, but if we get 4 and 5 here, then we're going to get another 5 over here. But once we get that 5, that could just be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave, and then we go up from that point. At some point along here, if we're going to turn bearish after these 5 waves here, well, then we're going to be coming down at this, you know, coming down lower at that point. So that's just the basics, and then we can look to be low below this low here. Now, we should be able to improve on all of this, but this has always been the pattern that I've been looking for to go long. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen, because, you know, it would need to take this high out or create the second high and so on. Now the stocks, looking at today, they've got quite a bearish bias to it. So having this as a ABC up here for a B wave, and seeing the market come down here further is, well, it's kind of got the bias at the moment for all of this. So while we're sort of under the 4,000 here, we'll be looking for short trades, but we'll get into that a bit later. But just looking at this little move down through here, I'll just go to the 100 ticks. I think I have it counted on that. Let's just, yeah, so from the top here, we can just look at it as wave 1 here with an A and a B and a C. You could put wave 1 just here as well on that, because when you look at markets like this, the SP 500 here, you can see we've got 1, 2, 3 sideways for 4 and then down for 5. So it does make nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and back for 2, and then 3, 4, 5 in this particular case. But just saying that this can be viewed in different ways. Okay, so if you don't have it this way, that's fine too, but you still end up with wave 2 here in that case, you know, so it doesn't really matter. So I was thinking that I will check this when I do the video again, but the indices video, but I was thinking wave 2 up here with 1 and 2, and then 1 2 3 4 5 for the third wave, fourth and fifth for the third, the fourth and the fifth. So we still need this fifth wave down here, and also too this fourth wave here, the 38.2% up there. So that could go up to there first and then down to here, and then we can have, and if we do get that 5 waves, just all we need is another low at that point, then we would get this ABC pattern here and then down again. But while this is here, this is really an A and a B and a C, and the market could by all means just move straight up from that point. I don't think that's the case looking at stocks, so I think this is more likely at this particular point. So if we're going to short the markets, then, you know, if we think that the market is going to be, you know, bearish and not bullish, because this will give us our long trade up here, so we could look to sort of build shorts in here tomorrow with this sort of thing, and we'll talk about that a little bit more when we do that video. Now, over to the stock. So a lot of the stocks have got a bit of a bearish bias to them. So if with Apple here, you know, we've been looking at it being bullish and bearish and in different ways, but if it takes out this little move, this low here, which it probably will, or, you know, come close to it, because this move down here was in 3 waves. So if it takes out this one here, we can't look at this as wave 1 here and 2 here and 1 here and 2 here and looking to the upside. If it takes that little low out there, then the only way to look at this is the A, B, C, D and E here for the B wave, and that would leave us coming down here. So it's kind of got that bearish thing, and if we're going to short this, we'll wait for the rally to come back off that point there. So we've got a bullish count and a bearish count. I won't go into the bullish count. If we were above the 150, then I'll look at the bullish count, okay? But we're going to sort of just focus on the bearish count, but probably when we go into maybe the 100s here or whatever, the 1,000, we'll have a look at that. But yeah, so there's a good case for, you know, I mean, this is the closest largest number, and this market cannot find it as support. If it does, well, then we could look for the long side, but it seems to be failing with these lower highs in here as well for that. So we're 50k, 10k and 5k, and then we could probably jump across to the 1k, because I think that's kind of neutral at that point. But 50, 10 and 5. So let's just go in. So looking at like this here, and if it takes that low out here, so I've got this as an A, B, C, D, E here for this, and then if it takes that, this will be like a little wave 1 down here. So yeah, it'll leave that low there exposed on that rally, so that will be the safe short trade at that particular point. We'll just go in and have a closer look at that. Yeah, so this is coming down here. This is not, looks like it may have come, anyway, it's pretty close to that point there now, but we'll have a look at that in a moment. But yeah, we're looking for that wave 2 here, coming back up here. Now you could short that at wave 2, or you could wait for the, you know, wait for the low to be breached here again. Let's just go in here a little bit further. So the 140 is going to play a bit of a role in terms of this wave 1 support. So you don't really need to do anything at this particular point in time. You know, just let it rally, and you know, if you can see it as a B wave, then that would be helpful. So you know, even if this is bullish and it's 1 and 2 here, it shouldn't breach that. So that's where you can look to short it at that point, and also look to short it under the 140 as well, building a case there for that. But that's what it looks like. We're going to go to the 100 ticks just so we can just drill in and have a bit of a look at this, get some idea of that. So get a bit more data. So just from the top here, I was thinking much the same as the S&P. You might have this. I haven't spent a lot of time on this, but yeah, 1 and 2 here. Yeah, 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the third. I could probably put the fourth here. That would be probably fairish. But anyway, it doesn't sort of matter too much at this point because we want this ABC pattern over here. This is the one. So we want this to finish off, which you can finish off, and then we'll have some type of correction in this space here. Like I said, you could short it up here further, but the B wave low would be the safe trade at that point. But we might be able to build in over here too, because what I would normally do, I mean, if this was all really clear, that would be fine, but it's not that clear. So even when we get that ABC in, then you can just wait. If you get 5 waves coming down, then you can short it at that point, you know, at the 61.8%. You can short it at that point. If you can see it clear, if you can count 5 waves up here for wave C, and then you can count 5 waves down, then you can short it on the retest at that point, the corrective rally, and then build in through group 1 here, just getting small positions through here and building in that side of it at that point. Alrighty, so that's Apple. So Apple is looking a little bit bearish, and this is Nvidia here. So we've been looking at this as wave A or wave 1 up here, and once again, I mean, it's possible to look at this here as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here, and continue to move up at this point. So we don't really need to trade against the trend here, because see, with Apple's under the 150 here, right? So that's in a weaker position, and this one here is above the 150. Not that the 150 is important on both of them, it's just that they're both medium levels and they're the closest, largest numbers. So, you know, Apple has, you know, is rejecting this number, where this market here is still sort of retesting that a little bit. So 10K and 1K, let's just check on this a little bit, or just go to 1K, I think. It's not giving us too much. I don't have 5 waves down here, I just have 3 waves. You can see that here in terms of 1 and 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 the third, fourth. But if we get this 5th wave down here, then you know that we have 5 waves. But like I said, you know, I've got this, because all across the markets we've had this as the A, the B, and the C here, and then up for 5 here, and it does count nicely as an A and a B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it does make a nice B wave, very short C wave though. But if we get 5 waves here, we'll leave that exposed at that point, which will be interesting, because at this point it could just continue up at that point. So we just need to be a little bit careful about that. Just going into the 100 ticks, and this is how we're looking at it at this point here. So from the top here is 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the third wave, fourth wave. So we need, you know, to make this 5 waves, we need to, we need to see the 5th wave. We still need to see this here. So hopefully we can, over the next what's tomorrow, Thursday today, Friday tomorrow, because if Friday closes weaker, then Monday's going to close weak as well. That's the other thing, isn't it? So Thursday in a bullish market is bearish, and in a bearish market it will be bullish. It will be a corrective rally. So anyway, let's just see if we get this first, you know, one step at a time. But we can be over here, so that's where the short trades will be. And Amazon's come down, you know, a fair bit. It's still possible that wave 4 could go over here, but if the rest, I'm thinking if the rest of the market's going to be bearish, then this is just going to continue. But obviously, it's going to have support at the old move here before coming down here further at that point. You know, it looks like a nice A wave and ABC for the B wave, and you know, and then coming up here for the C wave up here, and then going down. But I can't see how this can go up here when the rest of the markets will be going down. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's a bit like that. Let me just 1,000 ticks and 100. that's the bullish count that we had, but the wave 2 is just too big here for this, so it's more likely to be this type of thing here, and we'll have to have this wave 4 here, so that will have to go over here. But I could see how we could have wave 4 over here as a nice big complicated B wave, but the problem with that is that I can't see the rest of the market going up at that point, you know. Let's go into the 100 ticks at this point. So just looking at the sort of intraday stuff at this point. So yeah, it's possible to have it as an A wave and then a B wave here and then a C wave up here. But if the rest of the market's going to be going down further, well then this is going to go down further. So we'll need to look at this as, you know, wave 1 ABC for 2 here, and then moving down here further, so 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 here. So this still needs to come out as 4 and 5 here for this. I'm not quite sure if we need to look at this as wave 1 and 2 at this point, but I would imagine that we're going to be looking at something like this here. So we're going to we're just going to see complications here for a little while. It won't be going very far. It'll be something like this, and then down into 80, something of that nature. So just, yeah, be a little bit careful on this one here. It's going to bang its noggin on this one here for a little while. So we'll just have to wait for it to mature. When, you know, when the rest of the markets, if we see, this is Nvidia again, but if we see these 5 waves down here and then the ABC over here, when this becomes the short, well then Amazon will become the short over here for this. So we'll just see how long that takes to go through on all of that. Meta here, she's down a long way from the top, isn't it? You know, sort of billions of dollars being wiped off for this, and I hope Mark can pull it off and make his Oculus metaverse work. It's just, will he be able to do it in time before he runs out of money? That's the question. So the thing here was that I was looking at this in two, you know, I counted up here as 5 waves, and so I knew I'd get another 5 waves over here, and that's good. So we could look at it as wave 1 and back for wave 2, and then wave 1 and back for wave 2, but because we're in a downtrend, we have to go with the bias of, you know, keeping this in here. So wave 4 is probably probably done at this point, but we'll just wait a little bit. So this move down through here, when that kicks back a little bit, that's going to leave that low exposed, and that means we can look to short it at that point. Now I'll just go to the 100 ticks I think we're working on there. So yeah, just in a bit of detail here, but let's just clean this up a little bit, shall we? So I counted 5 waves up here, so we could have it as wave 1 and back for wave 2 here. And then we're counting 5 waves up here. I know that's a bit messy, but we're looking for 1 and coming back for 2 here. But what the thing is here, it just looks like it's, to me, well, this is obviously a 3rd wave, isn't it? So somewhere in here we've got 4 and 5. So here it's looking quite bearish at this point. So yeah, and also too that if we, not that it's a big deal that it's pulled down, you know, 70 or 80% down here, it's not the end of the world, but having this here is really quite bearish. It's not really giving me a what's the name, so we're going to have to remove the alternative 1 and 2 here for these, so we can just delete those. And we'll go back to our A wave, our B wave over here, and we'll need to put that here, and we'll have to put our C wave here for wave 4. I'll clean all this up later. In fact, I'll just clean this up here because I don't need that here. That's some mess I can clean up. I'll leave that. I don't need these. I'll leave those because I'll leave those on the other side over here. So it does look, there might be a bit more, but it doesn't, we don't have to worry about this too much at the moment, but we will, you know, there might probably be another low in here, and then we can look for that retest up here for this here as an ABC pattern. So we don't have to get into this today too much, but so yeah, we're all looking for that top here somewhere. That's all good enough at this point. Yeah, so I'll get into this a little bit later, but what I'm saying here is that it does appear that we're looking for a short trade here, and we need this ABC pattern to come into play. And yeah, I mean, I may be able to put that in here. It looks like, you know, I kind of would put it here, just looking at it naturally, I would do that, but the S&P needs to make another low, I think. So, and I haven't checked the Nasdaq yet, but anyway, I'll just put this here for the time being. We will see this here, but once you see a rally that comes back to say 118 here, then you can say that wave 2 is coming into place at that point, and we can look to short. Once that moves up here, then you can just draw a green line above here, and you can look to find the B wave as well to short that. Okay, so let me just bring this in a little bit better. So it's all these little things that are telling me that the market's, you know, bearish, you know, this wave 4 for instance, and then seeing this 5 waves down here, and you know, we should be able to short under that here, or at least if you can't figure that out, be under the 110, under this low here. Coming under this low here forces it to be, forces this pattern to be, this whole pattern up to be corrective at that stage. And Netflix, so this has got the same sort of pattern as Enphase as well, by the by. So it hasn't sort of collapsed yet, but Enphase has given a little bit of a signal that we can have a bit of a top in, so we'll need to be mindful of that. So I'm not quite sure about this here, but what I was sort of thinking about is that I wanted to see this move down here and the rally back up, and I'll see if it comes down at that point. I want 100 ticks, so let's just go in there. This is the other way I've got it counted, with wave 4 being in here too. This is just another way to look at it. And then wave 5, but I'm not, even if we make a new high here, I'm not prepared to go long on this just yet. So this is also looks like 5 waves down here as well. So we'll just see how the rally goes. You know, while the other ones do theirs, they may do this and finish off at this point. So I'm just going to, I don't want to do anything with this at the moment. So this wave 1 can come in here if it's lagging a bit. We've either got it here or we've got it here. But we can't make a move on this one just yet, I'm afraid. And Enphase here, because Enphase came down and took this little low out of the previous low here, the count that I had up here as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and so on, because it took that low out here, it's destroyed that pattern. So we've either got, I could be totally wrong, but and it's still above the 300, which is a good sign. So we've either got 3 and 4 and 5, and we're finished here, and we'll have to look at this as 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 here. We'll look at that in a moment. Or we've got the B wave. All of this is the B wave here, and then we'll have a C wave to come in here. So we'll either have, if it does come down here, we're either this wave 4, or we'll have to go to a larger wave 4. So all of this back down through here. I did start to have a bit of a look at it, but I'm just ran out a bit of time this morning. But just to let you know that I was looking at it on log scale, and I'll need to, this is log scale, and I need to double check on things, but I can kind of see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 back from $1 here, and then 1 and 2, and then the 3rd and 4th here, a bit sharp for a 4th wave. So that's why I want to just double check it. So I'll just double check everything, but I think that we may end up being in a blue wave 4 over here for this. But I'll get back to you on that, and just to let you know that I'm going to put a bit of time into that. I could just use that down here. that here. We're on 100 ticks, so let's go into that 100 ticks area. So yeah, I was thinking about it in terms of the wave 3 and 4 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, because I can look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here, bit rough and ready. But the thing here is that this low here breached this one here, so we were looking at this being on the positive side. And also too, it does appear that we've got 5 waves down here. So that means we'd have like an A and a B and a C back up to here and then come down here. So if you do have a position here, then exit it over here in this box here around the 320 and above. So yeah, we do have this 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for this, the 4 and 5. So we have that impulse wave coming down. So we're going to get another one. So the question is do we have it as wave 5 up here or wave B up here? And if it is wave 5 up there, then we will need to look at this here as wave 3 of 1 higher degree. But I'll need to confirm that that particular one. I think the B wave's also a good case as well, because we've seen the fingerprint for this market. We've seen that B wave come quite high before as well. But anyway, you need to protect this trade. So when it has this ABC pattern here, then exit that. It's not going to be a wave 1 there, but otherwise we're going to see it come down. There was possibly, we could look at all of this as wave 1 here, then an ABC for wave 2 back into this space here as well. But that's a little bit of a long shot, and I don't want to carry that position back down into this space where it could actually fold down even further. So we need to get back to break even on that one, and then yeah, if it does give us this second high here, then we'll go long again above that second high and go from that point. But we're not there at this point with that. Tesla, so we'll end up seeing, we're looking at Tesla, we're counting it up as corrective, we're also counting it up as being positive as well, but because it's broke below its previous low here, got 3 waves here, and it's broken below that there, then we're going to see this move on down further through here. So we'll have to look at this as the A, the B, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 coming down here further. So we'll need to look for 5 waves in this space. So I'll just go to the 1000 and the 100. Not sure which I've updated, but okay. So yeah, it's a bit the same as the S&P and all the other markets. Really, this move down. So it can come down a bit further and to these lows here. But what we're actually looking for is the corrective counter trend rally to short it at that point. So there's many ways to do that, putting a line through here and taking the B wave low out and all of those sort of things. But let's just wait for this bounce here. It's a little bit messy in through here. We can look at this as wave 1 in here, an A and a B and a C for wave 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and maybe able to get 2 out of here. So I'm not quite sure if we got the low in here. I'll just see what I've done on the 100 ticks, but I knew it was a little bit messy. So okay, I've gone that way. So I've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, and that's okay. And then I've gone that's in 5 waves, so the A wave. So I've got this as the B and a C wave here. So that's kind of okay, but it hasn't really taken this high out here. So it's possible to look at this as also wave 1 and 2. So I might have that wrong in here. Yeah, so I'm just a little bit unsure. I'll just wait. I'm thinking that there's got a wave 4 and 5 to come down here a bit lower to come in, but at the same time, we don't have to worry about it. You don't need to short it in here. We need this over here. This is what we'll focus on over here, okay? So just to allow this to finish off down here, wherever it's going to, that may be the low there already, and we'll come back up this way, but what I can say is that because it took this B wave low out here, then it's bearish at this point. You know, if you have shorted it at that point, then the stop will need to go, you know, up here somewhere, well out of the way. But otherwise, we'll catch it. We'll catch it on the flip side over here. With Google Alphabet and Microsoft, they kind of got the same patterns. We were looking at them being bullish last time, and it's possible, but I think because of what I'm seeing in the markets is that we're going to have to look at them bearish. In this particular instance, the market has come up and retested the 100 here, as you can see, and it hasn't found it as support. But it's doing all the right things for support, because it would normally have the classic trading levels pattern of the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, an ABC pattern, and then find support here. So it's possible to count this up as 5 waves, and it's possible to look at this as an ABC pattern. But at the same time, when I'm looking at Tesla and the other guys, they need to come down further. So it's likely that Alphabet, and I'll put Microsoft in the same boat as well. They've got the same patterns in this space here, at least. So I'm thinking that we'll need to come down here further for this, and we'll have to look at it. We'll have to look at it as a WXY here, with an A wave and a B wave and a C wave. I could look at all of this as wave 1, but it's a little bit large compared to all of this over here. So a WXY looks a little bit more practical at this point, but it won't matter. We'll still end up with 5 waves down here, so we need to look at it. If it gets back above the 100, then I'll change my mind and we'll look at it in a bullish light. But what we need to do is we need to understand the bearish side of it, and look for the trade setup, because if we're above the level, then we'll spend our time looking for long trade setups. But if we're below the level, then we'll need to look for short trade setups. Yeah, so let's just go in here, 1K and 100. Okay, so this has got both counts on it here, so it'll look a little bit confusing. So on the bullish side of it, we can look for wave 1 here with an A wave, a B wave and a C wave down here, and then move up at that point, and we'll be able to go long above the B wave at that point. We're looking for this move down here to be 5 waves at this stage. The support down here is 90, of course, so which is a medium level, so it carries a bit of weight, so we can use that for sure. So it's also at the 61.8% here, so basically we could short it anywhere below here. You know, I mean, if we get some first low below the level on the bearish side, a move through this level, then we can look to short it on that side of it. But what we want to try to do at this point too is that, like all the other markets we've just been looking at, some of them seem to have 5 waves down, some of them still need to come down a little bit further. But when this B wave comes back here, then this B wave in 3 waves, we'll look to short it in here somewhere. Now it may just come down to here and bounce and you know, move up at that point, but if we can get the trade to break even, get a sort of a free trade out of it, then it might be something that we could add to further down. So it's a little bit of a high risk, this situation, but and we might need to change on this again, but let's just do the best we can in terms of it moving down here. Yeah, I hadn't really seen a 4th wave yet, so want to probably I mean, obviously the 3rd wave is here, so I think we're still missing a bit in here. Anyway, well, by the time it goes into a next session, we'll see this play out here. We'll probably get the 4th wave bounce off the 94 here. Yeah, and I've got this here as B wave and 1 and 2 here. So we're going to try to look to short it over here on this. Wave 2 was complicated, so wave 4 might be really quite simple, but I don't see it in there just yet. So we'll just wait for that. But we want to be over this side for that. And also for Microsoft's got the same pattern as well. So we were looking at it, well, originally we were looking at it as a bearish pattern. We're looking at it as wave 1 here with an ABC for wave 2 here, but I'll put it as an A wave and a B wave, and we'll go down for the C wave here. This length can be the same length as this, so we could probably bring it down further than this as well. But obviously that 200 is going to be fantastic support, as this trend line is as well, so it'll probably poke its noggin down there somewhere. But the thing is that we're in the same situation as Google here. We got this 5 waves up here, so it certainly can be bullish at this point, and we could just get the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here, and then we could just move up from that point. So we need to be mindful of that. But like I said, some of those markets, and the banks as well, some of the banks are really rolling over. So it's telling me that the bear's in the air. And yeah, we need to heed that warning, and we need to, if I had this as support, it's got a classic trading levels pattern here, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level. If we get the ABC pattern and then we take out the B wave, by all means we'll be long, we'll put on our trader hat. But we need to have our trader hat on for this too, because this is basically this is see how this is the number here, right? So the market's come through this number, bounced off it, gone through it, gone back to retest it, and this is where it can fail. So it's migrating from being support to resistance over here, and it's in that very same thing, the arrival, the reaction, the first low below the level, the retest, and down again. So that's how it migrates across the board on that, so yeah, it certainly can be bearish. It's got some bullish particulars about it, but they're not confirmed yet. That's the thing, so we need to be a bit mindful about that. But I won't go in there and have a look at it at the moment, but it's the same as the other market so far. This first move down here, we want to let that finish, and then we'll have a look at the retest, and then we can look to short. We should actually just do that. Check it. So bearish is 2k on that. Okay, I'll have a look. Okay, that's not much help at this point. Let's just go to the 100. We just want to have a look at that move here, and I haven't updated this, so I'll just put that here, that there. Look, it's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So can I borrow these at all? Yeah, it doesn't really matter. So we still need to be on the other side of this yet. We need that here, and then we'll need the ABC pattern back over the other side over here. So you can see that. I mean, it could all just happen next session. The whole thing can play out in the next session here, Yeah, it's that B wave you're looking for. It's a bit dodgy calling that 5th wave in there as well. That's this point. Anyway, the main thing here is, let's just assume we get one more move down here, and if you can see the B wave here, that if you can see it, if you can see that, then that's the short trade at that point. If you can't see this and you can't figure it out, then you have to use that low at that point. You could short it back up here as well based on the 5 waves here, but these 5 waves are not that crash hot. So I suppose it's okay as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, just a little bit short. It would be nice if we made a bit more of a high there on that. But I have to be careful, this is not some sort of A, B and C down here for this. I don't think it is, but the rest, other markets have got a pretty clean top, so we'll just assume that's the same. Okay, so Berkshire Hathaway. So we were looking at it as an A wave, a B wave and a C wave down here, for a C wave down here, but I could never really get a nice 5-wave structure here because we made that low here. But I sort of take some of these structures with a pinch of salt, but anyway, we were counting up as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 coming up here. So we've seen the market roll over now, and we can also see that this is the high. We're also seeing that we're getting 5 waves down here. So what will happen here is that we'll come quite close to here, I'd imagine, and then we'll get that corrective rally at that stage, and that will be the 1, 2 short. This will be, you know, we can short it right on the 61.8% at that point, and we can build into it, and we can short here. And so we need to be on this side of it over here. We'll see the stochastic sort of lining up for that as well. But like I said, it could be that this is wave 1 here with an A and a B and a C coming back on the bullish side of things. So if we do short it up here, we've got to try to get this trade, you know, keep it at break even at least. Yeah, and I'm thinking this is going to be bearish because of what I'm looking at with the banks, you know, that's the thing. And block here, we were looking at, this is an ABC pattern up here, and we counted 5 waves down here. And anyway, it's pulled back to its 50-60%. So once again here, this looks like impulsive wave to the downside. There may be another little one in all of this, but looks like it could be finished as well. So any retest back to the 65 level here again, you might need to adjust this. If there's another move down, you'll need to adjust it. But the 50-60% is around the 65, so you can look to short it at that point. I can't see it being a bullish pattern from this low here. Oh yeah, I suppose as wave 1, A and a B and a C for wave 2 coming back. It's possible. So if you wanted to wait that out, it's right on the 61.8%. So that's all. Yeah, it's possible. We could look at it as wave 1 and 2, but it's not really what the banks are telling me. So if I just go to Bank of America here, I suppose the Bank of America could be up for 1 here and an ABC back for 2 here. It's nice and sharp. That's possible. It's right on its 61.8% here as well. Well, close to it. 33 is the number there. Let's see how this finishes off. It's not really giving us 5 waves down at this point, because we can see 1 here and ABC for 2, and this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we'll just let this finish off. Let's see if we get some 4 and 5 here for this, right? And if that's the case, if we can count 5 waves from here to here, then we can short this side of it. This won't come back up much if it's dropped that much, and then it'll be down at this point. So once again, let's just see if we get 5 waves here first. That's step 1. And Morgan's here. So do we have a top in here at this point? You could probably, it will spend the next session bouncing up off this low area here. Let's just see how that goes, but it will leave it will leave this low exposed at some point, right? I'm not going to leave that there, but if the market moves back up here a bit, then it will leave that low exposed, and then that will be the short trade at that point. And Goldman's have come off. We were looking for top. I thought it might get a little bit higher there. Once again, we've probably got 5 waves in this little move, but we'll look at this tomorrow when it has its little rally here for that. And then we can look at that as a possible short at this point. But it could certainly make another, it could certainly come up and finish off there as well. If we look at this as, it's a little, none of this was really none of this was nice here really at this point, so it's difficult from where to take wave 1 and 2, probably just on that 1 bar here really, I think. So yeah, it can come down to the 38.2 and then go up. So let's just have a quick look at this on 5 ticks. I'll just have a look at that top. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then the A, the B, and the C up here for the B wave, and then down for 1, A, B, and C here. So it is working itself lower. Can I look at it differently? Can I look at it as the A wave here, the B wave, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here? Yeah, we'll just wait for it to finish off. It looks like if this is 1 and 2, and this is the 3rd wave, we're going to see 4 and 5 here for this. So once that finishes, then we'll see this will either be wave 1 and 2 going to the upside, or it'll be wave B somewhere along here, and we can short it at that point. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. I mean, I have to take wave 1 and 2 from this point, I'd imagine. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like it doesn't give me a new high there, does it? Or does it? No. Oh, it's close, isn't it? Anyway, we'll investigate this a little bit further tomorrow. Let's just allow it to fall into place. Alrighty, alrighty. Well, thanks for tuning in. I guess the main thing is that the markets do appear to be a bit more bearish than they are bullish. And tomorrow we'll look for short trade setups. They probably will come into play, and if we do get triggered in on a lot of these, then the first step is really to get those trades to break even. And if the market's going to go down further, well, then we'll have the opportunity to add to those trades. If the market's going to turn on us and go back up at that point, then we'll at least be at break even, and then we'll look to the long side. Alrighty, cheers.